They gotta understand when they do something wrong. They have to understand when they do it right. This'll completely. Hey! We've done so much heel work. Let's do heel and have someone stop, and then I'm gonna have you just take a step back. I think sometimes they don't know what they're supposed to do because all we do is correct them when they don't do it right. Our timing needs to be so much better. The takeaway from today is slow down. At Mighty Pet, we're going to slow down.
You really don't appreciate it.
And we're going to make our dogs work through the anxiety of having to get the next thing right now.
Yeah.
Patience. His attention span, I gotta be careful because I'll call him Chris Smith on these videos. But so the Chris Smith syndrome, he sits for about 15 to 20 seconds, then he's ready to do something different. And because we're not gonna appease that, we're not gonna go, okay, you wanna do something different, Pinelli? We'll go do something different because I don't wanna bore you. No, life is boring. This is gonna be boring. And his panting is going to slow down. He's excited right now. I'm surprised how settled that one is. That's pretty nice. I don't mind that behavior at all. Like, I like it. And our training right now is happening. Sit. About 30 seconds before we got antsy and had to move and whined a little bit. Spry's not helping the situation. Spry's going, I'm not so comfortable here myself. Is it hot out right now? Look at my dog panting. That's a physical thing that shows she's not comfortable. Look at that one. Give her a look. There. That's what you're supposed to do. And when she does it, good. You know, give her a little reward. But hell, she's ready to fall asleep. Where 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, I don't know, maybe even 5 minutes now, barking, wanting to go, not real comfortable, ready to hide from me, to that. Probably at 45 seconds now, maybe a minute. See how quick that flips as soon as I touch. So his mind is over there because that's where the action is. But as soon as I touch him, he boils over. So we also have to figure out how much or how little praise they need. Last night someone told me, you can't pet my dog because they just bite my hands. As soon as I go to pet or praise them, they bite. How do I fix that? Stop petting and praising them. You don't have to pet to be praised. Good. Try. Sit down. Good. See her tail right now? Good. Got that. Kind of a change out of him right now. He almost laid down. Like, good. Pinelli. Good. Wonder how many times he's been asked to sit remote. Not very many.
They went through tri-county training, so we should have.
Well, he's only 9 months old, right? Sit. So I don't know when tri-county training took place. I don't know how long that
This spring.
duration. So it's been months.
Right.
So I would sit. So I could practice stuff. I played high school basketball. I was good in high school. That was 20 years ago. So because you took training in spring, it doesn't necessarily stick. Like we can train here, but if you don't practice, it won't work. So since tri-county training, I wonder how often they've done remote sit. I bet it's not very often. And if they have, I wonder how long it's been. You know, like how long of a duration. Because right now, he looked at me like, I've done this before, and then he said, I don't have to stay here. So it hasn't been very long. So with him, I'm not going to worry about remote sit right now. I'm going to worry about just sit and just sit still. That one, beautiful. So what I would do, what's his name? Dakota. So Dakota, very, no way. Dakota says, yeah, I'm pretty good. This is a mechanical thing. That lead, flip it over. So slip it off. So you see how it's. I'm gonna take this one. So this is a test for Noble. Noble's just got to sit remote now by himself. So if we're gonna heel the dog on the left or the right, we've gotta make a decision. And this will be more of a heel thing, we'll talk about later, but, so see how this is right now? See how it doesn't release much? So if we're gonna heel him on the left, by simply putting this over, see how quick it releases? So it's the letter P if we're heeling to the left. And that was probably too much for poor little Dakota, and Dakota went, screw you, I haven't done anything wrong. Oh boy, I like this little
Girl.
dog. Girl. Sorry, little lady. I like this little girl.
She's man issues, but I'm gonna
Now.
help you.
Now, her focus is everywhere else but me. So again, by simply getting a little bit, and this will help too, I want to, if I'm going to work on a slip, I always take the flat collar off because it just gets in the way. It doesn't allow the slip to work the way it should. So before I ask her to do much for me, I got to connect to her. Notice the difference with the pup as soon as we covered her up. Good girl. Good girl, come on. Come on. Very little pressure on her to get her to respond. Come on. Great job by Noble. All this distraction, walking around in front of him. Now, so I just did 3 little paces with her, and I feel like she's probably connected to me better now than she was. So we're going to put her on an island. And now she's going, wait a minute. So I'm going to ask her to just sit for a second. The least steady dog right now is mine. Uncomfortable. She almost actually, she has to go to the bathroom. Like that's my sense right now. I had her outside before and she didn't go. So I don't think that's the issue. So right now, Spry's getting as much out of this lesson as we are. Because she's going, I'm in a really uncomfortable spot with a lot of new people that I don't know and dogs that I don't know. And he's going to make me be patient and not do anything. Because right now she'd rather do something else. This puppy would rather do something else too. But the majority of the time, this is what we do. So, Benelli over there looks a lot better right now. Looks pretty good actually. This Benelli, lay down, and I mean it's been over 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Pretty nice. Little island dog over here. I don't mind being the center of attention. This is all right. So this is a lesson, like, and we're 7 minutes into it. So I said, I'm really watching the clock. I love the clock right there. So 3 more minutes of this, and this is today's lesson. And it's extremely boring. But right now, we went from dragging down the hall to dogs just sitting around. You know how many people would be really impressed right now just simply walk in and see however many dogs we got? 5, 6 dogs, quiet, in the same room together. 2 of them don't have people next to them. 2 of them are about, as little of, that dog, did you see that? Mm-hmm. I hope that camera could hear it. A deep sigh. Comfortable. I look for that sigh. A yawn and a little baby sigh. Well, wait, that Springer size, boy, we really got the world. But this one, here's the action. So every dog here right now, as much as we think they're hellions, they all have some pretty nice stuff already. Now it's just figuring out how to bring it out. And it takes time. It took more time to get that dog, it would take more time to get that dog out of the hallway and here and settled. It took a little bit of time, but hell, it hasn't been 10 minutes. So this is the first time. I'm telling you right now, every time, once this turns into a habit, it happens a lot quicker. Can I see him? Here. Right back to, wait a minute.
Yeah, there's nowhere to tie. You could bring them in there and shut the door if you want one just to sit on the floor while you're washing too, and then walk them home. There is a door back there, so yeah. You can
No.
shut it. Keep everybody in there.
How old is this one?
Okay.
I think a little
Should be
over
a little over
a
a
year.
year. She's gonna start her second heat cycle pretty quick. So.
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
No. So all I want to do is to end it with her Because she kind of struggled coming out here. And you know what she probably thinks we're doing? Going back to my little safe house. Going back to my little cottage. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really care what her heel looks like right now, because we're not working on heel. We'll work on that later. So it's not a perfect heel by any means, but what I really wanted to do was recreate what we did when we came out here. So I walked down to the end of the hallway, and I walked back up, and she sat. Just sit. Just sit. I don't know if she's quite ready to do a remote. This is remote enough. So now she's on a little bit of an island. Noble the statue over there and Link. So, sit. So I don't need to push that. I don't need to do what we're doing with that one. But I broke this up. I brought her back and I just recreated it. And that's a lesson for her. And look at the nice little laid back ears all the time and kind of looking around for a little bit of praise. She's going, I think I'm doing the right thing here. Where when I first met her, she's very defensive. Looked kind of tough. She sounded tough. I saw you could see right through it. You're not that tough. Pretty sweet. And I think for knowing me for 20 minutes, she's real sweet. She's pretty comfortable too. Look her. So, 21 after, we ran a minute over. This is a lesson for these three. For these four, really. 5, really. 6 if we want to really get technical. They all had a lesson. So it took 20 minutes total. It was focused on each one of them a couple minutes. This one had it easy. This dog's fine. That's pretty sweet. I mean, that's pretty nice. And she doesn't like guys? So
Apparently not. She bites people when they come to her house.
Yeah, I think sometimes it has to do with the guy on the other end of the bite, not so much the dog. So, you know, if anyone comes up to this dog for the first time and lets her know, you know what, I'm on your side. I doubt she'll bite you. But if we come up and we really want to play and get excited and she doesn't want to, get the hell away from me. I'm not interested. But when I can get it, well, what? Now you think you're funny. No, not so bad. Give me, come on. Sit. Very good. Very good. So, boring lesson. But these guys got something out of it. Now, if you did this every day, and you don't have to come up here and do it, but if we can figure out every day how to get, now, back there it's hard because there's a lot of other dogs that we just don't have control of. I'd be barking. Eventually, my goal would be to be able to do it with them all so they don't bark like that. So that I go, ah, 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 and everyone responds and everyone's quiet and everyone, ideally, and I think you can do this, by the end, you get in there and everyone sits at their door really nicely and quietly going, I'm ready for my reward, and my reward is a little bit of love from you. And then you can open the door and say, all right, come on. And then say sit, and then get the next one on there. Now, that's end goal. Reverse engineer that and figure out how to get one to get a tiny little bit towards that direction. There, she got it today. This one got it today. That one's a little bit closer today. But it's a marathon. You can't be a sprinter and win.
Question.
Yeah.
That dog only comes once a week. So how do we handle it? Like, what do we ask
So-
the owners, or how how do
So
we?
the routine needs to be consistent here to start out with, and I think it's training their owners. So once a week, I think what you really need to do is you need to sit with their owners, and if their owners came in today and said, my husband wants to get rid of it, my thought is they're probably pretty open to things at this point to make things better. So what I would say is, this is what we're implementing. We're working with a trainer, and we'd like to start building some training into our camps.
They know already. They're beyond excited.
So now it's, hey, we've started it. This is what we're doing. This is the struggle we're going to have. In order to see results, I can't do things 15% of the time. I need it 100%. So we're going to start it here, and we'll lay a foundation. You have to transfer it home. So this is what we're working on, and I walk through it and show them. You have to train them as much as you do the dog, probably more at this point. So, but I would make it very baby step, incremental stuff. I'd work on one thing with them, and because that's what we're going to do. We're going to work on one thing at a time, and then we're going to have a link, and then we're going to put another link on it, and then we're going to put another link on it. Pretty soon we'll have a chain. But right now we just got a link. You can't do much with the link.
So I guess, so at this point, would you ask their owners to still ask to have him sit and be patient like this at home, or would you
Yes.
wait until? Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would say, but do it on a but have realistic expectations and don't set them up to fail. So by bringing, so the real gut check with whether or not this dog stays with that family is the family, not the dog. The dog's the dog. There's nothing wrong with it. And I would show them this. You know, when they come next time, when they come to pick him up, say, hey, we started today. First thing, I'd watch the video. I'd have them watch the video. I'd film all this stuff. And every one of these owners, you guys all have phones. Every time you do something, I would have film of that dog, and I'd show the owner, and I'd say, this is what we did today in a matter of about 15 to 20 minutes, but we'd like to build on that, and we'd like to build on that, and then we'd like to build on that. And as this goes, so here's what we need. So it's got constant correction right now. It's just not turning off. So if we want something, sit. I ask him, he doesn't do it, sit. Sit. 3 times, should have took 2. But I think part of it was he was pretty uncomfortable with that neck thing because of this. That's why I think we need a little, I think you need to go into your aisle, and I think you need to pull 3 slips, put a piece of electrical tape on it, they're mighty tense, and hang them somewhere over here. You've got a nail right there, and you put them there. Because those little slips are such a sharp, soft, it's not a hard correction, it's a quick, well, you're using it. So you've got hers, his. Lots of his and hers is sitting. But I like that tool. So especially with this dog, he can take the correction. He's got a lot going on here. He's a chunky little boy. So he's got plenty there, and he's thick enough. And I'm not, now that one, I don't know that I'd put a slip on that one. Not quite yet. I put a flat, like a flat slip like that. Because I feel like that little puppy doesn't need that much. This one here, I think would take that slip chain with a nice little sharp on-off sit. This is too dull. And that's why when you were here with him, he became accustomed to it. There was no off. Sit. Sit.
How do you properly fit something like that? Like how much needs to be hanging off?
I don't like more than about 3 to 4 inches. So a dog like this would probably take a 22. She's about a 22. I don't want them too long. Because if they're too long, they don't work as well. If they're too tight, they always feel it. So it needs to be loose when it hangs loose. I don't have mine with me. You can see it was a big test, and he went, to hell with it. Because I doubt remote sit's been worked on very much. So now a mental note with this dog, sits real good, we're going to take a step back and have the lead. So there's my correction. That's the next step with him. And you can hear he whines, he gets excited, and we go, I'm not comfortable. But I'm really asking a lot of him right now. He's been out here for 30 minutes, too much. So he's going to be done. But the slip here, see how loose this fits? I like it to hang so that the two links touch. But when I put a little bit, like this could be slightly longer. Not much. Like the next size up, whatever this one is, I can go one size backward up with it. This is a 20. So 20, 22 or 24, I would rather see than 20, because this is just a bit tight. I want to have, when I go to heel, now you heel on the left or right? Say right, because it's set up for the right.
Yeah.
So if you heel to the right, that's fine. But I want to have a little bit, I want to be able to get about 2 or 3 clicks. Click, 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 little links. Hear that? I want to be able to have that before it feels any pressure. And right now, by the time I go 3, I can feel it on him. He certainly can feel it. So if I had another 2 inches, I could go 1, 2, 3, and it would be feeling like this. So those are just tiny little details that really are important.
Mm-hmm.
So we're done. It's 9:31. We're off the clock. But so we need to look at this as, boy, this is a real victory. But man, was it boring. So what? Right? So we build off of this. And then, but consistency-wise, it's showing them this and saying, just get the dog to sit by your side for 2 to 3 minutes without that. That's the behavior that we don't like. And we've exceeded his ability, time-wise, right now. We want this. We want that. Who would have thought that dog would last this long? Just really nice. Eventually, someone else settled. So it took a little while, but I call that a win. Because if I had, you know how fancy she was? Most people would have said, oh, come on, take her off, put her on a leader, do something different so that she's not whiny. She's not antsy, she's throwing off all these other dogs. A lot of people, their reaction would be, let's change the situation so that we don't have that undesirable behavior. That undesirable behavior won't go away if we adjust to her. She's got to adjust to us. So this isn't so bad. And I can let her know about it. Nice work. Now, I got to keep in mind, I'll watch this and it'll get shorter and shorter and shorter to take that settle. Good timing. Okay? So now, let's bring them all back. Let's put them back in. And I'm going to judge you. No. But the heel won't be that great, especially because you're going to go, oh, he healed and it went pretty good. Yeah, I was alone. I'm going to ask you to do it with other dogs. That's big.
Okay.
Big distraction. So let's put them back.
Yeah.
And then we build off that. So once we start talking about heel work, once we get into heel work, then I'm going to say now heel has to be good. Because that changed. So the takeaway from today is slow down. At Mighty Pet, we're going to slow down. And we're going to make our dogs work through the anxiety of having to get the next thing right now. Patience. We're going to start to show patience with our dog, and the dog's going to start to show patience for us. That won't be overnight. And we put it on our list to work on heel. Look how nice that little yellow dog is going down the aisle.
Catherine, do you need to pee?
I do not.